Jade Rawlings, the only Bulldog, in fact, the only player in the entire game to have not spent any time on the ground in that opening term.
Very expensive bench player.
Indeed. Could have an impact later in the game. That's what Rodney Eade will certainly be hoping. They trail by 15 points. The start for them has been their Achilles heel. So the positive of that is that they are still well and truly in the contest at quarter time.
Again, just looking for those matchups. They've moved them around once again. Smith and Braun have been together most of the day. Now Smith going forward. Daniel Chick getting to say hello.
Second term at Subi. Minson in the ruck again for the Bulldogs. Up against Cox. Luke Darcy at full forward. Cox had to stand and wait. Paddled it down towards Gian Syracuse and West at ground level. Umpire lets it run for 10 or 15 seconds and eventually will call for the ball up.
Ben Cousins spending a lot of time forward today, boys. You know, not as much in the midfield as he normally is.
Braun's had 9 touches, Fletcher 8, while West's had 9 for the Bulldogs in that opening term. Doggies get the first chance of the second term. Griffin taken to the line by Hunter. Ball spills free in the tackle and we'll have a throw in. Ryan Griffin, a goal with his first kick in football in that opening term. It was a classy finish. The Bulldogs really did take their chances. 4 goals, 1. West Coast just created more chances. They kicked 6 goals, 4. 10 shots to 5 in the opening term. West to Smith and now back to West. Handball to the overlap run of Gian Syracuse. Stumbles and stutters. Wanted to get back on the right. Goes with the left towards Darcy at the top of the square. Burst, ricochets, free kick. West Coast holding in the contest as Glass releases Judd. Receives a shepherd from Scott McLaren and takes it around the outer side.
Judd. Then he's herded up nicely by Hahn. Forced to go by a hand. Jones works it to centre wing. Grant, front spot. Cousins taking time out and just stood off him. Brian Harris has hacked it off the ground and all he's done is kicked it out of bounds on the full. So the Eagles can set up a left half forward.
Another keen matchup. Johnson and Judd, an interesting one. I wonder how close those boys will stay together.
So Ben Cousins, possession 9. Kicks it to the forward 50. Stenglein worked his way to the front. Leaping frog there was Cooney over his own man. Here's Judd. Interesting hand pass to Fletcher. Great start to the term. 2 goals for Chad Fletcher.
Just something about the way that Chad Fletcher, Andrew Amberley and Chris Judd all seem to be just have this sixth sense on where they are all the time. Just the 3 of them are just the 3 musketeers, have no doubt, and that's a beautiful finish.
Was it a handball from Judd? Was it correct disposal?
Well, the umpire hasn't called it up, Tim, so you'd have to say yes.
Danger signs now for the Bulldogs. They've been gallant in this contest so far, but suddenly the Eagles exerted their will and influence, and it's out to 21 points. Judd, Embley, Fletcher all being damaging, and here's Cox to Braun. He's had plenty of it as well. His 10th possession. Inside 50, Grant gets across. Thundering out to bring it to ground was Lynch. It's still alive in there for the Eagles. West Coast working overtime up in their forward 50. Lynch's handball was at the toes of Sampi. Now Dean Cox from 45 on the left. Cox will go for home. It's across the face and through for a minor score. Great endeavour from the West Coast forwards. Started with Quinton Lynch coming out. Grant was looking like he was going to take an uncontested mark. Lynch put some body pressure on, and from there anything's possible.
Not doing anything special, Quinton Lynch, but like Sav Rocca was for the Kangaroos last night, just hard at it. A big power forward, knocking people around, giving their small forwards opportunities.
And it created a scoring chance there. Gilby from the kick in. Gains some territory, then chips towards Smith and Weston Johnson. Weston Johnson got in each other's way. No damage done. McMahon to Grant to Johnson. And now to Power. He's got Cooney over the top. Jones peels off his man, did well. Later smother. But now they've got numbers forward of the ball. Griffin to Power. Awkward kick inside 50. Burst, a tidy gather. Dished a handball to Smith. No one back at all for the Bulldogs. Embley will track it back. He won't get hands on it. It'll be a goal. Some luck for the Western Bulldogs. Haven't been able to buy a goal in recent weeks. Today they're getting them from everywhere. Embley couldn't get back. The Bulldogs have kicked 5 goals, 1, and the margin's back to 16 points.
Well, last time I saw a floater like that, I was in Adelaide and had peas all over it. That is just unbelievable. Andrew Embley had that covered, and it just sat in the air, just a mongrel. And, well, luck plays a lovely part in football.
Doesn't matter how you get them. You just get them, and Rowan Smith will take that, and the Bulldogs will likewise, down to a 16-point margin. Lucky break, lucky leg break to be precise. Minson, fresh air shot from Stengline. McMahon received from Cooney. Good run from Hunter to receive, got a push in the back. He'll pay advantage, he won't, he'll go back.
Another matchup, Embley and Power. Power now out with 8 possessions.
Scott West leads all comers with 13. Embley. Stengline got a problem. Minson bearing down on him. High, according to the umpire. And Will's not happy.
Like to see that on replay. I thought there was nothing wrong with that tackle at all.
Cousins, they get on quickly here, the Eagles. Cox had Braun outside, went inside with the left boot. Not a good kick. Brian Harris read it well. Dogs will change direction. G and Syracuse went without it. Seaby's there, wins the footy to Sampi. Not the cleanest passage of play. Here's Glass. He's a goal kicker from 55. Lynch turns around, screws it through and misses.
Just again, very, very strong. Harris getting up a little ginger.
That was a much tougher kick than kicking the goal. He somehow managed to screw it back even further over his head.
I just think he was looking for a bit more body pressure from Harris and just didn't receive any.
Gilby again with the kicking in duties. Doggies trying to hang in. Good kick, that one. Speared through the air to Brad Johnson at half back. He goes to the run of West. Got his hands on it. Get a free kick. Cop one in the back. Bounces to his feet. Goes inboard to Darcy. All the usual suspects lining up for the Western Bulldogs. And here's Hargrave as they go straight across the ground. Now to Burse. Eagleton runs hard to provide an option at half forward. Sits it on his head. One-on-one with Hanson. Wasn't percentage, but it might work out because Eagleton can go over the top. Here's Hahn. Goes left, goes right, goes left again. Back to Eagleton in the pocket. He's run down, goes off the right boot and kicks a goal. Did it the hard way, but did it nonetheless. The Bulldogs have been unorthodox inside 50 this quarter, but they've kicked a couple.
Tim only just said it within the last 5 minutes. Doesn't matter how you get them, but they are just scrambling all the time. Of course, when you look at the scoreboard, what they've been lacking, the Bulldogs, is getting it through the middle of the pine. And at the moment, 6 goals, 1. Says it all.
Much tougher shots this week than they've been missing in previous weeks. So it's all starting to turn for the Doggies, and the margin back to just 11 points.
So much for no right boot for Nathan Eagleton. They are doing it the tough way, but they're putting it on the board. 6-1 the Dogs, 7-6 the Eagles. Here's Butler, received from Sampi, inside 50. Lynch wants front spot, they wrestle. Phil Matera. Here's Judd in traffic, spins out of one and then into another. And there's 3 Bulldogs around. The umpire waves the arms. They stand around him, still play goes on. Sam Butler, strong tackle. Good tackle too from Griffin. Gilby, in fact it was Power. McMahon, back to Gilby. And now everyone starts to run, and Murphy has Hahn on left centre wing. Scott West still presenting.
It's almost like a rugby drill. They just keep on coming down in numbers, the Western Bulldogs. They just seem to just feed it around until the opportunity comes forward.
Hargrave receives from Power. Now he'll kick long. Smith, front spot. Did the hard work. Didn't finish it off. Chick, Wapunda. And the Eagles can set up. They've got plenty of players inside their defensive 50. Braun takes the mark.
That would have been far too orthodox if Rowan had taken that chest mark and gone back and slotted it. It's been that sort of quarter for the Bulldogs inside 50. Opportunity goes begging, unfortunately for them on that occasion. Jones to Banfield at half back. Again, the Bulldogs capable of getting numbers forward of the ball. just clogging it up for the Eagles, and that option from Banfield wasn't great, but it'll turn out all right. Stengline inboard to Dean Cox, and he marks on the back edge of the square. Patience required and accuracy by foot. Dean Cox has both on this occasion. Ben Cousins has it on the wing. 12th touch for him coming up. Second only to West with 14 in the game. Stengline pokes inside 50. Grant stands underneath it and takes the mark. Now look for the Bulldogs to switch and run off half-back. Gilby will come back down the line to Murphy. Smith works hard up the wing. That hard work is honoured. And Rowan Smith has got burst leading to him. He'll go deep inside 50. Minson and Hahn over the top of the contest with Cousins. Glass comes storming through. Two-handed motion. Sorry, double motion, I should say. And it's called a throw. West has it 55 from home. Open goal square. Attacks it now. One-on-one. Bursts in from the side where Punda have it covered. Right off the boot. West doesn't have the penetration in his boot to go the journey from there.
Yeah, should have got it on a little quicker, Jake, because honestly, all he needed to do with that football to hit the ground, it would have run through.
We're a Punda to Chick in the back pocket. Again, he'll hold it up. Braun offers a lead short. Chick will go down the line towards Stengline. Sits it up on his head. Gene Siracusa jumped early. Gave away the contest. Judd has it on centre wing.
Hansen provides the lead. Takes it. Keeps on presenting. Inside 50. Lynch the target. Harris up over the top. Hargrave roves it. All hit by Harris. Ball ricochets. Lynch, he's having one of those days. An up and under kick. Darcy, well done. Ball spills to Hunter. Hit Darcy in the head. Gilby does brilliantly. Cuts a swathe through a nest of Eagles. Rawlings on for his first run. Here's Chick under pressure. Johnson close to him. Good pressure again from Johnson. Chick has to go in defensive 50. Here's Glass. Has to be good. There's a high tackle and it's going to go to Glass. Against Smith. Luke Darcy. The bells are still ringing. Dean Cox. It's a wonderful kick for a big man. Jones runs and goes and inside for here's Adkins.
He's got a long kick. He's well and truly within range here, Adkins. If he just gets his head over this, he can kick this.
Jones is out of gas for the West Coast.
Huge run.
So Damien Adkins. Kick from outside 50. Not that confident. From 55, he'll give it everything he's got. Damien Adkins, goal umpire, does not move. Great goal. Nice call, Peter Wilson. Really just cleared the goal umpire easily.
Right, single players out, but Jordan McMahon really should have cut that football coming off into Adkins. He just had an opportunity to intercept football coming here from Jones, and don't think he went too hard at all. Did it Trey's ordinaire.
And Atkins makes them pay. Margin back out to 17 points. Damien Adkins with 1 goal, 1. Beautiful finish. Again, the Bulldogs find themselves a few goals down. Braun. Faulkner intercepted. It was intended for Jones. Jones went back and got it. Now got it to Braun. And they flip it out wide to Cousins, who links up with Banfield. Banfield spearing kick towards half forward. Adkins out on the lead against Hargrave. Receives some body contact and will get a free kick. Interesting matchup, Adkins and Hargrave. Adkins stands 181. Hargrave 191. Gives away some height. Doing well. Inside 50. Phil Matera at the back. Bounced off his chest. Hunting it again is Phil. Got boot to ball. Minor score.
Well, if he just keeps on battling away, Phil Matera, surely something's got to go right for him. It bounces the wrong way. It goes between his legs. Oh, he's having a dark period.
Johnson at half-back for the Doggies. They need a goal or two just to hang in this game. We've seen so many times this season already. Sides who are capable of hanging in can finish strongly over the top of other teams. And the Doggies have done it this year already. They did it round 1 against the Magpies. Cross. Smith needs to get rid of it and does. Goes towards half forward. Bursts the mobile target. Run down by Wirrat Punda. Ball spills free to Cousins. Has time to assess the option. Across the body to Hansen on centre wing. Bulldogs with a couple of numbers back, which is why Hansen will come inboard and wait for an option. Embley to Cousins. Stengline being hunted. They're under pressure. Hansen run down by Grant. Dogs get the turnover eventually. Good persistence. Hahn to Cooney. They're doing it the hard way. Smith. Cooney's now got 2 or 3 to beat, and Chick will get there first. Chick across the body. Banfield. Eagleton. Banfield and Darcy. Banfield still going. Run down by Hahn. Players piling on top, and eventually will get that bounce, but with such a flood of players moving up and down the ground, not flooding as such, but just hard running up and down, we're seeing at times players pick up the football and just not sure of where to go.
I'm not too sure if they've got any legs left by the time they pick the football up, because this really is hard work. This is marathon football.
Selwood. There's one down by a cross. Here's Griffin. Approaches 50. We've seen him finish with the right. Great kick. Rawlings did his best to spill it, but Ryan Griffin cleaned both sides of the body, and that was a wonderful pass.
Comes with big raps, Griffin, on what he's done in the under-18s. I think he was the captain of the South Australian under-18s, wasn't he? He was a very handy little player. When I say that, again, a midfielder, 187 centimetres tall.
All-Australian last year and played senior footy in Adelaide as well, so he's used to playing against men.
Just 3 minutes of game time so far for Jade Rawlings. The Dogs need to stay in touch. They need him to kick this. It's bending, it's trying to bend back. It hasn't been back enough.
It becomes turnover football here with both sides pressing with this rugby run orientated football. As every time you see a turnover, that is all it's going to continue to present the opportunity.
Wapunda, they got the signal, threw it on the boot, and this was a set play, and Sam Butler was the intended target right from the start. So one kick and the ball already got it up towards centre wing. Judd down the line, Fletcher. Big Shepherd off the ball. Hunter has it now. Slow to get up, Burse. He's got the staggers. Now they're messing about with it, but there's plenty of players up ahead. So Judd has to be patient. Lynch running hard, marks it now. He'll have to kick from 60. And this is one man who can kick the footy a long way.
He's been striking it very well, though, Tim. His timing's been a bit off. We've seen a couple of big hits from him on the leather that's just gone straight in the air. This is where he needs to slow down and put his head over the footy and not try and kick it too hard. I think that's what he's guilty of at times.
He's kicked 2 behinds today from 60 metres. Won't make the distance. The Dogs under pressure now. Burst is coming off after that heavy Shepherd off the ball.
The big hit, Jones, big body.
Just wasn't braced for it, was he? Shane Burst didn't see it coming. He comes off, and Scott West comes back into the game. He's had 15 touches, West. Cousins has had 15 for the Eagles. Lynch and Seavey both had the same idea to get it to the back of the contest, but it was all Bulldogs. Smith and Johnson link up. Johnson gets it back. Dinky little kick towards McMahon. McMahon flips it over the top to the voice of power. Can get it onto Cooney. Commits the body. Goes down hard. Really hard as Embley came charging through. Power wins a free kick.
What was the free kick for?
Yeah, I was about to say, not sure if it was high or not, or just a really good hit.
Got good hit.
Power looks like he's hurt his collarbone or AC joint as Smith goes inside 50. Fisted away by Glass. Got it away from Rawlings. At ground level, Griffin. Butler wins it on the deck. West confronts him, got into his back, and he'll get a free kick.
Yeah, and honestly, that's 2. I think, is that a squarer?
Ooh, big going there.
Butler to Selwood. Dogs need to hold late in the term. Hansen at centre-half forward has the mark. Wide open inside 50. It's one-on-one, Matera versus Murphy. Matera leads now, and it's going to be brought back. It's going to be turned around, is it? Or is it going to be a free downfield?
Downfield, that'll go to the Western Bulldogs.
Umpire's blowing the whistle.
It's going to Hargrave at centre-half back.
So it is going to be turned around. And there is Sam Power, very sore in the shoulder or the AC joint. Big hit coming the other way, Andrew Embley. So Hargrave at centre-half back. Just over 5.5 minutes remaining till half-time. As I mentioned, it's important that the Doggies hang in here. They can't let it blow out to 4 or 5 goals. Embley, 2-on-1, punched away from Graham. Hargrave works back to keep it alive and does. Chips it inboard. Here's Power. Can he get the arm above the head? He can. And takes the mark at half-back.
Showing a lot of courage. That was a heavy hit from Andrew Embley earlier on Sam Power. He's on his defensive 50.
And it really has been a fantastic matchup. 11 possessions each.
Mucked that up the Eagles. And Bowden missed the first effort, then swatted down the second. Hunter, the recipient, receives it and then kicks into open space. Here comes Phil. What sort of bounce does he get? Clean bowled, out, middle stump. Murphy zigs and then zags and goes back to Smith. He would have almost gone past it. Phil Matera now is harassing well, does very well in the end. 50-50 contest, ball out. He's just having, well, he's having a month.
If this game's any indication, Phil will get a goal from the least likely opportunity of the afternoon. That's just the way the game's been at both ends.
He'll get it 30 seconds out, and they'll need the goal to win.
Bulldogs will be happy with that if they're still in the contest. Selwood, ball spills. Here's Jones. Hits the post. Snicks the post on the way through. 8-8, 6-2. Into time on.
We had a lot more time, Jones. There's no talk. He was very surprised to find himself having a shot on goal.
Really dangerous 4.5 minutes here for the Bulldogs. You just get the feeling that the Eagles are a step or two away from another goal or two, which would just hit this margin right out. At the moment, it's 18 points. Doggies just need to hold. Gilby, high ball towards the wing, will drop short of the contest. Grant and Bowden. Bowden with clean hands, kept it alive. Then got it to Griffin. Crashing through is Hunter. Judd, working in a phone box. Did it beautifully. Hanson tucks it under the arm. Goes from 60 towards the pocket. It's alive for the Eagles. Graham, just enough pressure to get it to the boundary.
Hanson just starting to bust open it now. Look, he started off a little slow, did this last week and really broke it open. Grant, being his direct opponent most of the time, really giving him too much opportunity now.
Doggies like a fighter up against the ropes at the moment. They're covering up. West Coast trying to land another couple of telling blows before the break. Seaby over the top to the front. Judd wrapped up. Judd somehow got it out to Embley. Here's Sampi trying to get through traffic. No way through there. Butler, boot to ball, bends it, hits the post. It was a good effort. Swatted a tackle aside, put a step on, banged it on the boot. Just couldn't quite bend it inside the post.
So right on the call earlier there, Jason. It just feels as the side is about to bust it open, the West Coast side.
Brad Johnson, even the best of them, that's a pretty poor error and he knows it. Bowden goes off, Minson on, and they'll attack again the West Coast. Tick over 3 minutes. He's been called to play on Seaby, stepped off his line. Cross, he's going to play 50 metres against Hanson, who really was just there, and Cross was certainly backing back. So that's it's 50 metres. We'll just leave it at that. And Daniel Cross hasn't had a lot of field time in this game.
Suddenly they got the chance to get it forward to the centre, Tim, which they haven't been able to do for the last 10 or so minutes. So they could get a goal on the counterpunch.
Here's Johnson, keen to fix the error. Gilby on 50, on the boundary line. They need this. That's a great shot on goal. Lindsay Gilby, he's kicked his third. Great goal.
If there was a super goal involved in football, Gilby's kicked 3 from outside the 50 every time. He's got a super long kick. And again, from that pocket, that is very, very difficult. Again, just turnovers are giving every side here an opportunity. Both sides get their goals from turnovers in this style of end-on-end football.
It was pedestrian setting that goal up. Everyone was just waiting.
Brilliant finish from Lindsay Gilby, just what the doctor ordered for the Dogs. They couldn't get it forward to the centre for the last 10 minutes. 50-metre penalty just opened up the ground for them, and they took full toll. 13 points the margin. That was a massive goal in the context of this game. Can the Eagles get it straight back? Braun from 50, loads it up, bending it back. It's going to miss to the left. Murphy got his hands on the ball, and the mark will be paid. Goal umpire in good position. And that's a terrible kick. No damage done because Cross managed to get it to the line, but it just didn't clear the area for the Bulldogs. And again, we find them scrapping in their own defensive 50.
Very dangerous again. West Coast in the stoppages. An opportunity here. Dean Cox has really been on top in this area all day.
Doggies hanging in, 13 points the margin. To the back of the contest, we see once again inside 50, but the numbers again are all Bulldogs. West to Smith and now Cooney. Untidy kick once more, put the pressure on Hargrave. He takes Atkins down in a tackle and the turnover comes. Minson, Hahn through the middle. 2 minutes remaining in the term. On the counter punch once more, the Bulldogs. Faulkner and Rawlings beaten in a 2-on-2 and Wirrpunda comes away. Selwood on the half volley. Looks up inside 50. The lead comes from Graham. Heads in that direction. Off the shins of Matera. Goes again, does Phil. Stumbles, goes to ground. Dishes it out. Butler. Braun. Keeps it alive. Graham in tight on the boundary from 55. Kick partly smothered. Bulldogs scrapping hard. Murphy set up McMahon. Graham will go again. Third in the chain. Hanson, they try to keep it alive. Embley from a tight angle. Snaps towards the square. Chance for the Eagles. Sampi off the pack. Goal! Hard work. Big goal. Sampi gets his second. They just persisted. It was the big man. It was Graham. It was Hanson. They didn't give it up. They didn't let it get out of bounds. They kept it alive. They kept it moving. And as we say time and time again, Petty, you never know what's going to happen.
And you would be forgiven if you thought somebody from the opposition side here stole the playbook, because both sides are just getting their goals from scrap. It is just unbelievable football. Very hard work.
Ashley Sampi off the ground. It's kick 2. Margin again out to 19 points. Final minute of the half. Can the Dogs get one back? Cross. Wirrpunda back with the flight.
Having a great day out.
They go again. Glass to Wirrpunda. Braun set a task. Does the ball stay in? It doesn't. Gilby with 3 goals. Sampi with a couple. Chad Fletcher a couple.
David Wirrpunda at the moment, 12 possessions, playing in a back pocket, and has probably produced 3 or 4 goals from nothing but rebound footy.
Still a chance for the Dogs inside the final minute. $39,000. Might be some weather coming, according to Lockie Reid. Moment, no rain, but certainly maybe by the end of the game. Stenglein threw it on the boot. Now Mitch Hahn, looks like he's carrying his shoulder. He's coming off the ground and not looking too flash. It is that taped up right shoulder of Mitch Hahn, so that could be a body blow for the Dogs.
Went in the ruck contest, Tim, and it was just bent backwards as he went up. One arm got tangled with another player and took it back in the wrong direction.
Heard the grunt. Here's Cox. Power to Darcy, 15 seconds. They can ill afford to go the long way home here. Gilby to Cross, got to get it and go. McMahon on the lead. Johnson. That'll be enough. The Eagles will be happy with that. Half time. Mitch Hahn feeling the effects. Right shoulder, he's grimacing. And the Dogs also maybe feeling the pain. They're down by 19 points. 9-9-63. The Dogs are 7-2-44.
The Eagles booting 3 goals, 5 in that term to the Bulldogs, 3 goals, 1. The Doggies just hanging in. That goal to Lindsay Gilby late was so important. And then Sampi responded late in the term for West Coast to restore the margin out to 19 points after the Eagles led it by 15 at the first change. Sampi has 2, Fletcher has 2, singles to Judd, Cousins, Adkins, Cox and Wirrpunda. While for the Bulldogs, Lindsay Gilby with 3 goals, despite playing deep inside defence, has been very, very effective on the counterpunch. Entertaining game of football. The Bulldogs still and well and truly in this game. It's just 19 points the margin at half-time. We're back to take a look at all the first half action right after this.